So yep, that's chapter 15 over. And our next destination is Fort Licoria. However, at this point, we can do the next part of the Latina events now that chapter 15 has ended. We need to go back to Verge, and Christ needs to have a miracle charm in his inventory, which I've already taken care of, so I'll see you back there. I knew I'd have to stop for a second here though. Every time you advance on the world map now, there is a chance of moguls spawning from Mermal Caves and going into Licoria Fort to occupy it. If you enter Licoria Fort while it's occupied, the map that you'll have to go through there changes. If you go to Licoria Fort while it's not occupied, there's a chance that a mogul will spawn and attack it when you enter there. And when that happens, you will be the defender in that map instead of the attacker. If you're the attacker, things are a little harder to access. I think I will be taking on Licoria Fort in this video, so I'll be talking about it once we get there. But for now, more Latina events. It is extremely weird that there are no hints whatsoever that you need Christ and Christ only to bring these specific items to this town at these specific times. There is a bit of a window on the on this one, and like the last one, you had to do it from either the end of chapter 13 up until the beginning of chapter 15. So, seems like Latina has an admirer. So if you couldn't tell already, this is indeed a romance side quest. Actually, while I'm here, I am heading to Licoria Fort, but I can't resist the opportunity to train up San a little bit against these zombies. So, see you back here in a moment. And that gets her Paragon. That's going to make the process a lot easier. Well... Okay, wow. Utona must be smiling upon me. 4 entombed. I have never seen that happen before. And now, it is time for the dark sun to rise. I mean, she's not quite Naren, but, still, that'll do. They're even running away from her. But well, that will not save them for long. So yeah, not only does she get a cool demon horse to ride, but Sun is one of the few characters in this game who, you can't really see it here, but her portrait outright changes on promotion. Oh, that just put her up to enough mastery to use Pylums. Okay, so this monster is at full HP. I have a Javelin. Now it's time to show off the true power of this skill. I've never really shown this before, but what Flurry does is, as long as you have even 1 point of attack speed higher than the enemy, then you will attack for like up to 5 rounds, and if you've got a ranged weapon and we're doubling, and the enemy can't counterattack, they are basically auto-dead. So this is why Black Paladin is an amazing class, because Flurry with ranged weapons is hilariously good. I mean, only on player phase, but still, that is pretty much one guaranteed dead enemy, just like Dire Thunder. Oh right, I promised to show what the shops do, but if I do this, I believe you actually outright... No, you can still do this. Okay, so the shops in Blood actually sell some pretty good stuff, like Killing Edges and Killer Axes. That is, like, 2,000 gold is an absolute steal for how good of an axe that is, so I'd recommend buying some of those if you have the gold for it. And honestly, I probably do. That, plus the one Samson has already, will probably last him for the whole game. And then also Pylums, as always. And Killing Edges. Also the Shamshir, it's not really a high crit weapon in this game. It has a very awkward 7 crit. But it does have decent might and accuracy, I suppose, but it's only 80 gold more to get a killing... I mean, I suppose it has almost double the uses of a Killing Edge, but still. Oh, okay, selecting in here, that is how you access the map itself. So yeah, now we can come back here and just go for the skills or the shops or anything we want, or gambling. And in order to leave, you need to... Yeah, I remember this is kind of awkward, so they have rooms for resting. And yeah, here, so this thing confused me on my first playthrough. Stay in town doesn't mean stay at the inn. Depart means stay at the inn. This is a song that doesn't play anywhere else, either. But yeah, you can use that inn to leave the map whenever, so we have free access to the City of Blood. But for now, we're moving out into Fort Licoria, which has currently been occupied by the worst enemy type in the game. It is pretty much guaranteed that you'll face at least one skirmish here, either as the attacker or as the defender. I'm usually the defender, but as you can see here, I'm going to be the attacker this time. If you're the defender, like as in you move into this place and then moguls attack you on the world map, you'll start inside the walls, and that's way more convenient because there's actually a few interesting houses here, along with another forge and an arena. We also have these Erail snipers who are surprisingly competent for NPCs. Unfortunately, they happen to be surrounded by moguls. 11 attack speed! That's really, really hard to double. Their might is actually decently high too, although their hit rate is terrible. But, oh boy, that's a big but. You'll see. This is not the worst of the terror that they'll unleash. So here's probably a good time to explain the basics of fighting Moguls, because we will really need to know this going forward. Moguls, you either need to hit them with one powerful blow and take them out, or you need to have a Swordmaster or a Pegasus Knight, because they're some of the few classes that can get fast enough, double them, and even then, like, 11 attack speed. You need 16 attack speed minimum to double Moguls. That's completely absurd. So yeah, like, that's pretty much out of reach for nearly anybody besides Sasha. So that's entirely why I brought her here. And, okay, let's see. Yeah, if I equip the Steel Sword, she doesn't double. If I equip anything but the Killing Edge, she doesn't double. And they actually do decent damage in return, too. Also, very thankfully, Moguls force battle animations to be off. I say very thankfully because, well, you'll see. You want battle animations to be off for Moguls. I'm bringing Xeno here because I didn't actually get to show him off promoted before, so I suppose... Okay, this might be... Yeah, that's strong enough to one-shot the Mogul. It's one-shot, or failing that, well, I mean, you probably will fail to one... Actually, I should have Kantoed Sasha back and danced for her. That would have been way better, but oh well. I wonder who I can reach if I, See, because we have gates here. Just wondering who I can reach if I dance for somebody. Okay, this is not a frontier map. I'm guessing it's a town map, which would make sense. So, let's dance here. Now, the annoying thing about Plum's dancing is that she will always bring up that another dance, question mark, text box every single time that she dances. I wish that only showed up for the first one, but sadly, that is not the case. Okay. Dullahan's accuracy is shaky. Okay, you don't have a lot of defense, though. 19... 3... No, I actually need to use Dullahan, I think. Because, yeah, I'm wishing at this point that it was the threshold for doubling was 4 attack speed, but no, it's 5. Still no strength. This is a very strength-screwed Shigen. And he's actually still pretty solid. Now, as long as, like, you don't have somebody more squishy in their range, Moguls are almost guaranteed to go after the Aerial Snipers, because, obviously, they're going to go for the person who can't counterattack. Another thing that's pretty effective against Moguls is a Dragon Catchery, but I'm going to wait a little bit before I transform her. But as I've said, the Aerial Snipers are surprisingly competent for NPCs. They'll take out any Mogul that's in their range. Emphasis on in their range, though. And yep, here are Moguls doubling things. And here are Moguls doing the even worse thing. Yep, just like in Gaiden, Moguls can split themselves in 2. Any Mogul can do this. It's a random chance, and even the ones that split can split again. The split Moguls only have half the HP of a full Mogul, but it is still a colossal pain to deal with these guys. Oh, they count as flying though, so Holmes on the player phase at least destroys them. However, taking out 1 Mogul per turn is usually nowhere near good enough. And this is why Catchery is quite effective against Moguls, because of her AoE breath. The AoE breath, definitely something that really helps, because it can take out a whole cluster of Moguls at once. Also, you notice the attack gate prompt there? The funny thing is that even though this fort should be totally friendly to us because we're helping fight off their monster problem, you have to break your way into the fort if you end up in this place as the attacker, not the defender. That's why if you're trying to visit the houses here, you want to be the defender on this map. It's kind of silly, but yeah, we actually have to bust our way into our own allied fort. I guess we'll make them pay for the door repair. I guess, like, slaying their monsters is compensation enough for that. Unfortunately, Plum's chances of getting Mastery are still very low, and she needs 6 to use Physic, and that's what all healers strive for, in this game at least. Well, and in most games. That's why Pent's so good, because he starts with Physic. Well, starts with the ability to use Physic, and also starts with Physic. So, okay, here's the problem. I kind of want to leave some of the Moguls alive just so I can show some of the houses and, like, the forge here. But at the same time, if I leave too many of them alive, they're just going to keep multiplying, and there'll just be way too many of them, as you can see there. So yeah, this gets very annoying very quickly, and I might actually have to eventually just cut the rest of the chapter. Or you can just use Pegasus Knights to fly in and visit these houses, though I need Holmes to get inside, because one of these houses has frontiersmen for free. Let's just killer axe the door down in one go. Sorry! Now, I've actually brought Samson here for another reason. Like, not only is he pretty strong, but, well, you'll see. I guess I mean, Sasha has a lot of health, so she can probably afford to fly, like, around here, but I suppose she can visit... I don't think these houses give you any items. I think they're just, they're, just for flavor. Okay. So yeah, there's a gladiator, place here, where you can learn that skill. Unfortunately, you can't use Flurry on doors. It'd be great if you could, but that is sadly not the case. I suppose I'll just javelin it. Almost sounds like the door just outright explodes. Said to the south of here. I'm guessing they probably meant that one. So let's, that's not even a visitable house. Whoops. But it is still great having a dancer. Now, I believe the armory and shop here are actually quite unique in how they work. This is a very interesting map because not only is a forge and an arena here, and you can also visit this place as long as there are monsters here, and, well, there are monsters here quite a few times, both during the story and randomly, as skirmishes. There are a few events in these houses. Unfortunately, none of the guards here thought to bring a melee weapon, so they're stuck just getting wailed on by moguls. Speaking of the guards, though, Samson can talk to any of the guards here. Because apparently, he's actually their leader. There were some very slight hints to this in his conversation with Alicia earlier, but Samson is a pretty big name in Ariel. He's captain of the guard, in fact, at this very fort. Didn't really feel the need to tell Holmes that earlier, but that is in fact who Samson is. Oh. That was totally unnecessary, but I'll take it. And I guess, so yeah, Flurry is decently effective against these things too, because you usually won't have enough attack speed to outright double them, but having enough attack speed, like, to use Flurry is a little bit more manageable. Now, one of these houses is the one that has frontiersmen. And I really want to find that house, because I want that on Holmes before I move out to Chapter 16. Oh, yeah, this guy's repeating the exact same conversation as the arena explainer back in Chapter 8. So a rare instance of a repeated conversation in this game. I suppose Shigen can check out these houses now. Oh, this is this thing. Okay. So, what the Licoria Fort shops let you do is that you can put a character that you're not using and have them run the armory and the store, and that will give you a slight discount on weapons. So make sure you choose somebody that you're, like, again, not using, who you can afford to lose, because you won't have access to them unless you go back to Fort Erail and take them back. Also, I believe that it has to be a male who runs the armory and a female who runs the shop. But they basically explained it there. They give you discounts on items, and it's honestly, I think it's an interesting idea, because in a lot of these kinds of games, you build up such a large number of characters that you inevitably have a large number of people that you just never use. Like people like Krishna, who you just wouldn't really use and you're not really training them, and they just take up space in your roster. So having them running, like sacrificing their deployment to have them run a shop is an interesting idea, and it does give them a use, at least. But you'll have to remember that, like, the problem is that you might end up depositing somebody in the armory or shop who, you need to recruit somebody later, and that's painful. That's really painful if you do that, so be careful. I'll just say, you might not want to leave Atrom to run the armory here. In terms of other people in this group that we need for recruitments later, I'm actually not sure if there's anybody. Rocky ground. Is this Mountaineer or is this Frontiersman? I forget. I'm just going to stop for a moment just in case that turns out to be, Okay, I can leave that other Mogul wailing on the sniper. It's easy to get them stuck doing that. So I think I might want to check out the fort a bit later. Plum can take refuge within these walls that we've broken down ourselves. I'm just going to go ahead and check this house. Just want to make sure that I'm using the Frontiersman. One. Martial arts, fight on... Okay, this one's Frontiersman. It's interesting that he talks about sand, which would imply that desert maps are considered frontier terrain in this game. Though I think there's actually only one desert, and I don't know if it even is considered frontier or not. The interesting thing is that I think there is an unused desert fighter skill, which implies they were going to make desert maps their own type of terrain, but in the end they decided to lump it in with Frontier, which makes Frontiersman even better. Well, at least that's what, I mean, don't quote me on that, I forget, like, there's only one map in this game that I would say is outright desert. So, like, again, I'm not really sure if Frontiersman also works on a desert map. I'll have to check to see if that is a Frontier map later. So yeah, this is the other forge, and that means that the first blacksmith's, like, model was in fact, sprite was in fact unique. So, this guy, he wants a leather shield and a potion of mastery. And he'll make a defense potion out of that. Or a dragon potion, I think it's called in this fan translation. Now, that, we don't really need that at all. I mean, it's a good stat booster, but the reason why I want to do that is, that will actually unlock the next item that the alchemist can make. And eventually, in fact, I think it's even only the... Yes, it's the second item. So, if we bring him a silver sword and an iron shield, he'll make a silver shield for us. So, we can just buy leather shields back at Welt for relatively cheap. I'm going to be back here once I have a master potion, so that I can make that first item, and then I'll go straight ahead. I'll have to give up the silver sword, which is annoying, but then I'll make the silver shield, and with that, I can make the first item at Blood, and then I can make the later items at Blood. The main reward for doing all of this is fusing together a longbow and an Azoth, which will get you an extremely strong bow that in the original fan translation was called Dragon Arrow. I think in this version it's called Blessed Bow. It's a 2 to 3 range bow that is very strong and effective against monsters. So, it's a decent reward. It's one of the best bows in the game, possibly the best. It does require you to unfortunately give up a silver shield and a silver sword though, and one of the rewards too from one of the forges requires you to give up a brave sword, which in Holmes' route you can only get by buying it from the secret shop, which requires you to either transfer the member key over to Holmes' route or to make it in the other forge. I'm running out of breath here. This is just totally, the whole forging quest is completely insane. But I want to try and show getting up to the Dragon Arrow, which isn't even the final reward. I think the final reward is actually the second member key, now that I think about it. So yes, Holmes is a true frontier... Yeah, because he says desert bandits. It's funny, but this is more for monsters, not desert bandits. But yes, Holmes is a true frontier warrior now, and that'll give him 6 move and frontier maps, which is going to be pretty helpful. I think if I can get you with Sun, I'll do that. That's really all I have to show here. The other house is just Gladiator, which, you know, if you want to arena abuse with someone, I guess you can do that. Oh, there's literally no reason not to use Flurry here. If you're using it at a range where they can counterattack, the enemy will get extra rounds too, but if you're using it at a range where they can't counterattack, then it's basically no drawbacks. That thing was going to die anyway. And so, that is the skirmish at Licoria Fort over. We can come back here at any time we want, as long as there are monsters attacking. So, as I've said before, but I'm, you know, thankful for those monster attacks because of this. Oh boy, these battles are going to continue way longer. If you think this is long, Catry, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now, after we get through Licoria Fort, provided that Uni is in Holmes' party, this happens. Oh wait, this is another event as well. Yeah, so this one, I think this actually increases supports as well. Catry, everyone is polite to you, and you're polite to everyone. Although, actually, wait, Holmes is not polite to Catry, but, you know, Holmes is just doing it because he's a tsundere. Ah, yes, this whole Kegor thing. I shouldn't be so formal with you. I kind of wonder what this was like in the Japanese version. Probably something question involving honorifics. I remember that one, I think it's Tiki's B support with Chris in New Mystery that is kind of absurdly hard to translate because she talks about whether she should call him Oni-chan or Ji-chan or... yeah. Because Mama was Marth or Ni-chan in Japanese, which you will know if you play Tokyo Mirage Sessions because she says Oni-chan all the time. And that they couldn't translate it to like Mama there, they had to just say Big Bro because it didn't make sense in the context of Tokyo Mirage Sessions to go with the Shadow Dragon localization. In a way, they're kind of the Pegasus equivalent of Cain and Abel, except one of them is not a womanizer. And Fort Licoria again. Please tell me this is the event I was talking about. It is. Okay, yeah. This is exactly why I didn't give Lyria's bio earlier. Because Lyria is about to get the thing that takes her from ridiculously lame healer to actually vital part of the army. And if you've watched the Root Split video, you'll already know what this is. It's like, you can technically put Uni on Runan's route, but why would you want to? He doesn't have any chests on his routes, Holmes has maps that require you to open chests to win, and you will miss out on this if you don't have Uni on his route. But you know, hearing people who can't sing try to sing is always funny. Here, you can have this all-powerful Staff of Destruction that I just randomly found one day. Don't know where she got this. This is like pretty much the best staff, one of the best staffs in the game. She just found it lying outside the fort. Like, who left this here? Like, I mean, you know, it's not technically theft if you don't know who owned it to begin with. Actually, I guess it still is. Hopefully its owner doesn't come at us very, very angry later on. Because they'd probably be very angry to lose this. Although, by sheer coincidence, Lyria is the only person in the army who can use this staff. I don't know if she's like the only person in Liberia who can use it. That wouldn't make a lot of sense, but... yeah, we get the Empower Staff. Raises... and with that... Now I can give Lyria's bio. So Lyria's stats are trash, and her growths are bad in the few stats clerics actually need. She's not going to be a good healer, and in fact, her very bad magic for a mage unit makes her a huge liability in maps with witches. We'll see that later. But she has exclusive access to a staff that gives plus 10 strength to an ally for an entire chapter, and that alone is ridiculous and makes her worth using. To put in perspective how good this is, it is a speedrun strat to have Uni kill enemies in Chapter 16 with the Empower boost. Now imagine how good that effect would be on someone like Raffin or Naren. It does have limited uses, but it can be repaired. But one use can be all it takes to trivialize a chapter. Lyria has one other unique use apart from that, but it is very, very unreliable and gimmicky. It's her Sing skill. This heals an ally, and it's at least free healing, but it's a very small amount, and has a chance of letting them move again, though this effect cannot trigger on a Dancer Plum. They thought that through. It's a base chance of 10%, and it increases with the number of times she sings, and her support level with the ally, although only Atrom and Uni can ever benefit from this. Which, interestingly, gives Atrom a bit of a unique niche, being the only combat unit with a higher chance of being refreshed by her. It's still not something to rely on, though. The area of effect of her songs does increase as she levels up, however. And this is actually something that a lot of online information had wrong. They said that it was based on the number of times she sings. So this should show you how obscure a lot of the inner workings of this game are. And I've actually re-uploaded this video just because I wanted to get the correct information out there. So she can potentially refresh up to 4 people like Path of Radiance Rayson, but it's still only a chance, and she needs to be level 15 to increase her AoE to 4, which is a pretty hard ask for someone who starts at level 1 and can't fight. Still, if she has nothing better to do with her turn, and she usually doesn't after she's empowered everyone who needs it, there's no harm in trying this. And that's everything we can do at Fort Licoria. For now, at least. We'll be back later for that forging quest. In our path is Mermal Caves. Before you head to Mermal Caves, I would definitely recommend saving. I would also recommend having a lot of free time on your hands before you attempt the next chapter. And raise some gold and give Frontiersmen to as many of your best fighters as possible. It might also be worth your while to give Frontiersmen to Uni as well, because it's going to be an open all chess map next. So, I've been looking forward to this, and I've also been dreading it. Mermal Caves is up next. See you all then.